let me get this straight. You are an Iranian-born
Yes.
published author,
Yes.
s- getting their master's in software engineering,
Yes.
all while becoming a pilot.
Yes.
Okay. We got a lot of stuff to break down in an hour.
Oh, thank you.
All right.
Yes.
Well, here, I want to start from the beginning. So we're going to start there. We're going to cover a lot of stuff here. But
Absolutely.
tell me about those humble beginnings. Like, how do you get on a journey of so much ambition, so much drive? Like, how does that even happen?
So I feel like it's how you grow up usually, and when you have like parents that usually motivate you a lot. So I feel I have my drives from my mom and my dad because they were like always telling me that I can do more than I can imagine. So a lot of it coming from there, but at the same time, this was not compatible with the society that I was living in, and I was not allowed to do many of the stuff that are normal here. And it was just it keeps you it's a stop. It's like holding you from doing stuff because you know girls don't do those things
Right.
in Iran. But when I came here, I felt the freedom, and I felt like I don't want to just be a normal girl. I want to be the one that I always wanted to be, and I want to be um, all the things that I dreamt of when I was a kid. Or because I saw the opportunity and I saw that, you can be whoever you want and whatever you want with effort and with passion.
Yeah. Well, parents seem to be a huge crucial role in that. Were you living when you're in Iran, were you like, I don't know, was it like a metropolitan area? Was it like
Yeah,
suburbs? Like, what
yeah.
was the scenario?
So I'm from Tehran, which is the capital, and capital of Iran is like a huge big city. It's a metropolitan. It's 12 million people during the night and 16 million during the day.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
that's
So we have
huge.
tall buildings, we have traffic, we have, yeah, but it's a beautiful city. And when I first came here, I had to tell this story to my friends in here that, oh, Iran is not a desert, and I have to go through like the details. And when I go to Iran, I have to tell them that, oh, Arizona is not a desert. Yeah.
Same
So
kind of landscape, yeah.
yeah, yeah. I
It's the
had a
same
lot
kind of
of
thing there, right? Very
yes.
dry.
So we have two main deserts in Iran, but the rest of the country is mountainous. We have two mountain chains. We have we have four seasons,
Hmm.
and we have snow. We have snow resorts. Yeah.
Does it still get hotter here? I can imagine we still hold that
Yeah,
record,
yeah,
yeah? Okay.
absolutely. I mean, because we have the four season, we have hot summer as
Yeah.
well. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
crazy. Gotcha.
And also like cold winters that snows and yeah,
Hmm.
yeah,
Okay, so then you were growing up there, and was it early on that you kind of got into like computer science, and so forth?
No, I had no experience with computers. I barely knew how to do with Office.
Hmm.
And then, so my major back in Iran was chemistry. I got my bachelor's back in Iran, and then I came here in 2015. And I wanted to study PhD in chemistry. So I went to ASU, and I did the research for 2 years, and then I changed gear to computer science for some reasons. One of them was not being able to do the research that I really like, and also the research that I was doing was not something that I wanted to do in 10 years.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Understood.
Yeah.
But you did start with chemistry.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
I started with
Why?
chemistry.
Why chemistry?
So after high school, you have to, if you want to go to college, you need to do an entrance exam. It's called concours. It's a French word, and it's really hard. And you will go to anything that your scores tells you.
Hmm.
So it's not like you can pick anything.
Right.
Yeah. So when I have done that exam, which was like so super stressful exam for everyone. It's not just for you, for me, and yeah. So my scores just dictated me that okay, so you have these options. So I picked my best option, which was chemistry in Tehran University.
How do they know that though? Is it more so we have something similar, I forget what it's called, but it's same it's not like an exam where it's like technical questions. It's like what are
Yeah.
you interested in? And like, are you more team oriented or are you like kind of a solo project? Is it like that or is it like very like
No. So
math
it's
STEM based?
exactly
Okay.
it's math and STEM based, and it's really super hard. And they make it hard because the time that we were doing, I mean, our generation, we are baby boomers, and
Mhm.
it was after the war between Iran and Iraq, and there were a lot of us, and then they had to put like there were like limited resources, and they couldn't let everyone to go to the universities, especially the top universities and the ones that are free, because there are some universities in Iran that are free, and there are like some private ones.
I see.
Yeah.
And are the free ones, are they like well ran? Is it something that's desirable still to go to, or would you want to go to more of a private one?
Education in Iran is very strong, and it's very updated, up to date, and it's not like and the reason is I think it goes back to the history of Iran, that people are so pro education and very like well educated, and so the quality of the universities, most of them are very good.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, we're kind of skipping around, but like, again, I would kind of want to go back to growing up in that, in Tehran. So like you're, again, in this massive city. I think people probably have some kind of implications to what it's like to living in Iran in general.
Yeah.
Did you feel anything more like, I don't know, towards like the violence or like the war or anything like that?
Absolutely,
Like,
yeah.
how did that impact on a
Yeah.
day to day?
So Iran, um, at least at the time that I was growing up, was safe, and but the thing is that how do you describe safe? If you obey, if you say yes to everything that they say, yeah, you're safe. But at the same time, you have to do some stuff that maybe you don't want to. For example, growing up, um, at the age of 7, you have to wear hijab and you have to cover your hair if you want to go to school and start school for the first grade. And it it was no these things were like super normal in Iran. But when you grow up, because you're a kid and you don't know you have no idea what these things meaning, um, like in reality. But when you grow up, you feel like, oh, maybe they shouldn't have made me to do that, and they should like let me decide when I like grow up. So yeah, so it's safe until you obey and you don't do any political activities, or you don't promote anything that they don't want it.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Ooh. Safe if you obey.
yeah,
What a terrifying statement.
it is. It is.
Gotcha. And so, yeah, that is also kind of what I get into as well. So, like, again, do you think that's kind of the stem of the problem where it's like you grow up following these rules and it just becomes normalized? And it's not till like
Yeah.
maybe much later in life that you're like, hold on, like, is this okay? Do you think that's
Yeah.
what it is? Are
Exactly.
kids like,
Yeah, they have no idea.
no idea, right?
They give this feeling to them that, oh, what you're doing is like great, or this is like the story. This is how you should live. There is no pick and choose.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
If you remember, I can imagine the same mindset towards like a school uniform, right? You don't really
Yes,
think
yes,
about your
yes,
school
yes.
uniform. You're like, yeah, it's just what you wear.
Yeah.
And yeah, everyone's wearing one, and
Yes.
it's a bit strange, but like this is
Yes.
what you wear. Simple.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so it's that
Yeah.
kind of mindset.
Yeah,
Of
exactly.
normalization, complete normalization.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow, gotcha. And so what ages for born there until what age did you get out?
So I lived in Iran for the whole the first
27
27
years.
years. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So I
And in
came
that
here
time,
when I
you
was
got
27.
your bachelor's, just your bachelor's.
My
there.
bachelor's, and then I went to work. I was working for a publication company, and I was an author, and I wrote 3 books there. And the first year, it was the bestseller. And the first year, I sold 16,500 books.
In your first book, you said?
The first.
First book you
Yeah.
wrote, published 16,000 copies, first
1,000.
year.
The first year.
Best-selling.
Yeah, it was best-selling. And then on the first year, I was the sole female and the youngest on staff.
Wow.
Yes.
What? How did?
Yes. Yes.
All right,
And then
hold on.
the
Wait.
years after, female joined, and I was the youngest because it was just weird for me too, because the other authors, they were like all high school teachers that were like, they had like tons of years of experience.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Well, okay, hold on. So 3 books. First book,
Yeah.
best-selling, 16,000 copies. What was the book about?
So that publication company was doing books for like helping students how to get better in like all the topics. For me, it was the chemistry.
Gotcha.
And yeah.
So it was a textbook? Not quite.
Not the textbook, but to help like a supplemental book.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
About chemistry. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
What age did you write that?
I think I was 24.
24.
Yeah.
How long did it take?
So they were in a rush, and it took 3 months, like the first book, to just put everything together. But then it took longer to revise, and so they were like sending it back to me, and then I had to revise and resubmit it. And yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And that process took maybe like a year or less than that?
Less than that. Yeah,
Wow.
maybe 5 months.
5 months
Yeah,
from
yeah.
written, edited, published, sold.
Yes,
That's
yes,
crazy.
So the thing is that I was even in the last semester of my education, my bachelor's, and I had to hide that I am still doing my last semester, because I really wanted that job.
And it has
And
like
I
degree required.
Yes, they were degree required. They were like specific university required, and I was like, I really need this job, and I want to do it, and I know that I can do it. So I didn't tell them that I am in my last semester, and I had 18 credits at that semester. It was brutal. I remember that that 3 months, but it was sweet because I was just so excited that I'm doing that.
Of course.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Man, 23. That's insane. So then, wait. So it's not a textbook, right? So there's no like curriculum you're following. So like, how do you know at 23 years old, like what are you writing about for supplemental knowledge? Like, where does that inspiration comes from?
Yeah. So there were this company that I was doing. They were doing research on a specific exam that Iran was doing good, but not being the best or the first or something, that they wanted to make sure that they wanted to know why the students in Iran are not doing perfect. And they did, the R&D team, they realized that they did the research that the other countries that are doing good, what are they doing? And then they came up with a structure, and they said, okay, we want a structure similar to this.
Gotcha.
So I had the structure and I had the textbook, so I just had to put information and make sure that it meets those needs.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Oh my God. In 3 months that you have to write that. I mean, that's insane.
Yeah.
Wow. All while taking classes. I mean, that's
Yes.
crazy.
Yeah.
And so first one was a hit, bestseller,
Yes.
got there. And then the second book, did you start writing right away? I can imagine
So
this is like an
all
annual
3
thing.
books it was a package. So
Oh, I see. Gotcha.
yeah, it was a chemistry package for the 9th grade students, and it was called workbook and teacher book and practice book,
Gotcha.
something like that. Yeah.
Understood.
Yeah.
Wow. And then this just got sold to like students, teachers, all
Yeah,
that, and
yeah.
schools, I'm
For 4
guessing, that kind of
years.
thing.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And then I got outside of US, and because I was not there, so I had to give it away.
Wow.
Yeah, but I think I got what I wanted from it.
That's good.
Yeah.
So yeah, with that, I mean, I can imagine it's a lot of success, right?
Yeah,
I mean, that's a
yeah,
massive amount of success
yeah.
to say that you even did that.
Yes. Yeah.
I would say if you stayed there and just continued that path, I'm guessing you would be
Yes.
a very successful person over there, no?
I would have been definitely, but one of the reasons that I got out was the economy.
Mm.
So I remember the last year, the company was like struggling with even buying paper.
Wow.
Because the paper was so scarce and people couldn't buy, and it was so expensive, and I felt like maybe it's time for me to change. And I knew that the economy in Iran, it was going down, and still it's like very bad now. So I was thinking maybe I should change a little bit, and that's why I decided to go to do PhD and come to US.
So
Yeah.
I just want to put it out there that this is kind of the decision making, is that yes, you're like a successful published author in a bad economy, however,
Yes.
and that
Yes,
it actually
yes.
made more sense to almost like not start over, but basically start over in an entirely different environment, entirely different country. That is a better thing than to be successful in a place that is, economically speaking, at the very least, declining.
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's insane. So then, okay, gotcha. So that's Iran, which is an entire crazy story, and we'll touch on that.
It's
But then you come over here
crazy. Yes.
at 27
27.
to get your PhD
Yes.
in chemistry.
Yes.
Okay. It's just a wild story. I'm just making sure I got the
Thank
highlights
you.
correct. Got it. And so you're over here now. I want to talk about first, we'll talk about everything in there, but like I want to talk about student visas specifically. I'm very curious in this because I know a lot of people that have been on student
Absolutely.
visas and doing all that.
Yeah.
What is that process like when you made that decision in Iran to be like, okay, it's time to go. Like, let's go get that PhD and so forth. Tell me that process of, okay, upon making that decision until setting foot in ASU. Like, what is that process like?
So the thing is that for Iranians, it's specifically harder for Iranian students to get the visa because of the political issues that Iran has with the United States. And it makes sense because there is no relationship. So they cannot obtain information from individuals that are coming to US. So for example, if any students from other countries, they want to come to US, they will go through process of getting their background check and all those stuff, which makes sense because it's like a new person. We want to know what's going on federally and all those stuff. So they cannot do those things. So it would be really hard for them to get all those information, and then it will take time. So I was so lucky to get a visa under 1 month. Actually, it was exactly 1 month.
Wow.
Yeah, but then there are like some people that get the visa 3 months, 1 year, 2 years, or nothing at all. So it's really hard to.
So how did you manage getting it so quick? Is there anything special you did? Any special
Nothing.
program?
No.
Okay.
So when I went to U.S. Embassy in Dubai, they didn't give me the visa right away, but they say that we need time for clearance. So they gave me the yellow paper.
Okay.
Yeah. So the white paper means that you cannot get in.
Oh.
The pink paper means that go ahead. But then the yellow is we need more information.
Yeah,
and
on hold.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Which that process was really stressful because you don't know what is going on and how you can help to like speed it up, or is it going to take a long time? I know for the fact that a lot of students who come here that are waiting for their visa to come, they are going through a lot because they don't know if they should stay, if they shouldn't stay, if they should start something, if they should, everything is just so challenging. Yeah.
You're a little bit more hesitant on your actions when you're like, well, I don't
Yes.
know where I'm going to be next month.
Yes.
I see where that comes
Yeah.
from. Does your background in working with a publication in education specifically, did you think that maybe helped the process or like between the
No.
other candidates? I know that, we can't see it over here, but maybe them picking their candidates are like, oh, well, this makes more sense for this exact candidate, or no?
No, honestly, they are not looking for these things. They are mostly looking for if you're a criminal or if you have any monetary issues, or if the federal government of any country is like looking for you. So they're mostly looking for these things, not like your background, because they don't care about your background, because your background is important to the universities and your experience is important to the university because they want to know how much experience what areas you worked on. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So they don't ask about anything like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
But then you got it within a month, or a month
Yes.
exactly, which is incredible.
Yeah.
You know you got it now. Okay.
Yeah.
You got that decision. How much longer until like you leave the country now?
As soon as you have it, you can just leave
You're
the
good.
country.
And was that the case
Yeah.
for you? You're just
Yes,
like, okay,
I just left.
packed
Yeah.
up and gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
I was ready to get out.
That makes sense. And then
Yes.
so, you have all these ties there though.
Yeah, absolutely.
You make it over here,
Yeah,
right? You're
yeah.
days travel away.
I know.
What is your connection with like family and friends now that you are completely, across the world? Like, how
Yeah.
does that tie in? Are you guys still like close? Did
Yeah.
anything get like severed because of it?
Yeah, absolutely. So the first year, everything was so exciting. I was going to my dream country. Oh, it's US. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. How exciting everything is. But then after the first year, the hardship kicks in, and then the fact that you might not easily go back home and visit your family and all those stuff, which is okay. I mean, this is what I knew I'm gonna face because this was my choice, and it's brutal, but it was there, and I knew that it's gonna happen.
Also like a source of
Yeah.
inspiration too.
Yeah.
No, I feel
Yeah.
like most students that are on like student visas are,
Yeah.
from what my experience is, incredibly hardworking, like very studious, that kind of thing. And I'm guessing that is because of that, right? It's an
Yes.
opportunity that you first off, don't want to squander,
Yeah.
how we all do here without
Yeah,
visas.
yeah, yeah.
But second off, it's like, yeah, you have all these ties back home, that kind of thing. You want to help out either your community or just, better your life personally. And then I'm sure all kind of, is an amalgamation of pure effort, pure
Yeah.
like, I'm going to get this done. I'm
Yeah.
going to work at it. And then again, you're not going for something easy. You're in
No,
PhD for
no.
chemistry, which is, I can't imagine there's many more harder fields than that. So
Yeah.
tell me what that process was like, going into that and finishing that out.
Finishing the chemistry,
Mhm.
I actually didn't finish the whole chemistry because I told you about how I changed gear to computer science because I felt like I don't want to do chemistry research, specifically that research, in 10 years. And for us Iranians, because of all the relationship things that going on between Iran and US, it's hard to get any sort of jobs. And yeah, so I felt like maybe if I choose another path, that I might be like more successful in it.
You see.
Yeah, so I chose coding.
Interesting. And so we'll talk about coding. I want to talk
Uh-huh.
about that. But the choice to do that seems very big picture of you,
Yes.
right? That doesn't
Yeah.
seem very, I want to do this. That
Yeah.
makes like, this makes sense. Does that make sense? It's more of
Yeah.
an objective decision than like something you subjectively like, this is something that I'm passionate about. And I'm sure you are, but like, this just makes sense that this is where the space is going. So I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
Not, just like
Yeah.
the field isn't going that the way I want. So I'm not
Yeah,
going to be
yeah.
here.
Exactly, yeah.
Does that decision kind of like lay on you a little bit? Like, is there still that kind of subjective passion towards chemistry versus software engineering, or does that make sense?
Yeah, so I think I had a passion for chemistry because that's what I started first with. And chemistry is just so beautiful. Everywhere that you touches it, it's so exciting, and it's mind blowing how you can how far you can go from like how far that they went actually, especially in US. And so it was a passion for me, but sometimes something is not serving you and you need to make quick decisions because there's no time for just spending it without knowing what you're going to do.
Yeah.
Or for example, I wasn't my age was not like something that I was worried that if I not take actions, I would not be able to get into the workforce.
Right.
Or like finishing school soon, or there are a lot of things that going in your head and you feel like you need to make a decision fast.
Yeah. And also you're on a
Yeah.
timer, right?
Yes,
I mean, the student visa is not
no,
infinite.
it's not exactly.
So you kind of have to get whatever you need to get done in a
Yes.
very specific amount of time.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And
Yeah.
so how long was
Yeah.
it from, so you get here, right, start PhD in
Yes.
chemistry. How long did it take for you to be like, hold on, I'm going to switch?
Yes, 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
How long is the student visa, by the way? Like how long do you get?
It's the duration is the time of the school. So
Okay.
I had 5 years.
Okay.
Yeah, but if you change your your major, you need to apply again, and then when you apply, they will give you another I-20 which has a specific duration, and you're just eligible to stay in US based on that time.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Understood. And then
Yeah.
we get into coding. And again,
Yeah.
last question before we get into coding though. How do you, like, you went to ASU, a very specific school,
Yeah.
especially when you have all of America to deal with.
Yes.
How did you decide ASU specifically?
Yeah, so ASU is one of the very well-known schools, and it's a very good school. It's a state school, and it's like ranking. So when you apply, when you want to go study abroad, you will look into your TOEFL exam score,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
is like the English proficiency exam, the GRE, and your what is it? The GPA does matter a lot. So all these things you need to put together and see which universities to apply that your chance of getting there is higher. So ASU was one of them, and then there were like some other universities, and yeah. So.
And that's where it came
Yeah.
from. Was it a scary choice? Because you're choosing the school sight unseen in a sense. Like, most people kind of like tour colleges and like go on college guided tours to like make sure
Yeah.
it's right for them. You're kind of going to this completely blind. You can do all the
Yes.
research.
Yes.
There's
yes.
beautiful pictures, but like
Yes, yeah.
that's kind of it.
Yes.
Was that a scary choice?
It was not a scary choice because it was exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't know what you're going to experience, but you just know that you want to do it. When you have that drive, then nothing scares you.
Yeah.
And you just go for it. I wasn't scared. I was just worried about the fact that you need to be fast, because science is just changing constantly and very fast, and you need to be updated, and you need to read a lot, and you need to be know what you're doing. Yeah.
Quickly. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
right.
Yeah.
Speaking of like kind of that rearranging of
Yeah.
space, you're going into coding. Do you
Yeah.
have any experience going into this?
So the thing is that when I was doing research in chemistry laboratory, well, things was not always going right, and I felt like I need something beside chemistry to, as a hobby. But I chose coding.
Okay.
For some reason, because there was like I had a cousin that she went through coding and programming, and it was always like exciting talking to her about computer and all those stuff. So it was in the back of my mind always. But when I saw the advertisement, I said, okay, maybe I can just try it a little bit and see if I like it and make my own website. But that was it.
Wow.
I want to see how to make my own website. And then I kept going, and I had no idea what it means to say coding boot camp.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went in, and it was a boot camp, and it was really hard. It was 6-month programming, full stack development, and I also had to move fast for that one too, because let's say I remember the first week was they were teaching about JavaScript, and I called my friend and I said they only taught JavaScript for 1 week, and then he said, that is not a good school.
That's all you need. These are all the tools. You're good.
Yes.
Yeah, move
and
on.
Then exactly. So that was the purpose of the boot camp, because they wanted to touch base things and tell you, okay, if you want to do this, you need to these things.
Yeah.
But most of it was on us, and to practice and to get familiar.
Was the boot camp very beginner friendly? Like, I know nothing.
Yeah.
Could I do the boot camp?
Absolutely.
It's like
Yeah.
that? Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Yeah. So usually boot camps are a very good starting point for anyone who doesn't have any experience in coding.
Okay.
It is challenging. It's not easy, but there are a lot of resources out there that can help you. And usually the people who runs the boot camp, they are very resourceful and they're very helpful. They're usually they have career advancement programs as well. So it's not just teaching you; they will actually help you to find a job. And the fact that you will get a job, the chance that you will get a job is really high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
For the 6-month boot camp. That's
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah, you have to learn so much so quick, apparently. My goodness.
Yeah. It's you will learn a lot.
Yeah.
And at the same time, because you cannot know everything at the same time, and it takes time, but at least bootcamp gives you the perspective of it will widen your
broaden your horizons.
exactly,
Yeah.
yeah.
And so, so doing boot camp, I'm guessing at the very least it'll give you some perspective on what you like and you don't like, right? It's like,
Yes.
we only spent
Exactly.
a week on Java, but like that
Yeah.
seems like a great thing to like really focus in on, and then
Yes.
you kind of go from there and start your path.
Exactly. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So then you finish that, and then again, so going into the major of like software engineering specifically versus like, someone that did it through high school or something and has like experience and then getting into the major, you're kind of going into it. Yeah, you do the boot camp and so forth, but is that major really, again, kind of beginner friendly, or is it you really need to know all of this kind of, some fundamental stuff and then you can get started on the major?
No, I think I feel like software engineering, computer science is a field that, unlike any other fields, maybe unlike chemistry, you don't need to know everything from the beginning. You will learn because it's changing constantly, and you cannot know everything. And by the time you learn something better comes out. And once you know the fundamentals, once you know, for example, what object-oriented language is, I think you can learn many different languages. So it doesn't matter if you are a beginner or if you are a professional, you'll get a job.
Oh.
Yeah. And then the good thing is that you will learn from the others a lot. So it's very people in our field, in computer science, they're very helpful. They're very motivating community. Yeah.
I like that. And then coming from chemistry, I'm curious, do you see any similarities between the fields? I have the inclination that chemistry is a very slow field, very slow moving. Maybe that's wrong. Software engineering is like one of the fastest fields out there. It's always changing. It's always, every year there's something incredibly faster than the previous year and so forth. And you kind of have to adapt. Always new languages, all these new things.
Yeah.
Chemistry, I feel like that's something that has been not static, but it's a very slow moving process, at least historically speaking. That's what it seems like. You only have groundbreaking stuff happening every once, twice a century. Right? It's like very slow. So do you see any similarities between the two fields, or they couldn't have been more different?
I feel like chemistry is also going really fast.
Oh.
It's mind-blowing, but not compared to computer science. If you compare anything with computer science, it's slow.
Yeah.
But I feel like they have actually computer science helped chemistry a lot. And there are a lot of things that you can use computer science to help visualize and to help model chemistry with.
Yeah. That's really interesting. I guess you're right. Strangely, computer science has helped every field.
Yes,
It's not just computer science, not just
Exactly.
software engineering or anything like that. It's everything. It's helped all of it.
Yeah.
That's kind of amazing to think about. I've never really
Touches
thought about that.
every aspect of life.
A good field to be in, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you're starting that study, right? You're doing that, and you have to start over, right? That another
Yes,
bachelor's, right? Not going
exactly.
PhD anymore, bachelor's.
Bachelor's, yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And you did that in 2 years?
So the thing is that I did the boot camp, but sadly I was on a student visa and I couldn't work.
Right.
And I had to choose either to still studying or just leave the country.
Yeah.
So until I have the ability to work in United States or like any other places, and I had to still study to get the right visa to be able to work. So I wanted to go to get a PhD or a master's degree in computer science. They told me that I don't have enough background in computer science, and the boot camp is not enough. So they gave me 25 credits to pass before I enter the master's program. And then because of my visa, I had some issues with my visa, and I had to stay, like part-time. I couldn't be full-time.
I see.
So it took a long time for me to finish all those 25 credits. And then after I got into the master's degree, I'm still struggling with the visa, and I haven't figured it out yet, because the process of like changing your visas is like so slow in US, and it's a bureaucratic failure.
Yeah. They seem to take their time.
Yes,
They seem to be very patient.
Yes.
Crazy. Gotcha. And
But
so
it is what it is. I mean, I really want to do this, and I feel like I have to be persevere and
make it work somehow.
Yes, exactly.
And so how long until this current visa is done?
So I'm legally here, and my I-20, which is from ASU, it allows me to stay. But it's just there are constraints because they are still like working on it.
Gotcha. Man, I really hope that works out.
Yeah, thank you.
Crazy. And so, okay, so we're going into software engineering now. Again, getting your feet wet, getting a bachelor's, doing all of this. Now you're getting your master's. You, on your socials, it seems like you post a lot about like women in software engineering. Yes. And I think that is kind of a growing thing happening. I don't remember the exact statistics. Maybe do you know the exact statistics by chance? I want to say it was like 20% female is software engineering, something like that. Maybe more.
I think it's the same. Yeah.
Something like that?
It's something like that.
20 to 25%, either way.
I knew it before, but I forgot. But I can check it.
Yeah, I think that something like that. Either way, I do think it is like growing at this point. Like more women software engineers are coming in now. With that, like being in a male-dominated space, I wanted to ask you about that. Like, what are your experience with that? Is that kind of come into play at all with software engineering, where it is so predominantly male? Does that even matter in this space, or?
It doesn't matter, honestly, but we definitely need more women to. For me, it wasn't weird because in Iran everything is male dominated, and but at the same time we have a lot of girls that are, engineers, and they're like, I'm not sure if you know about this, but 65% of university graduates in Iran are women.
65.
65.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a lot. It's a big number, and 70% of them are from STEM fields. So for me, it was not like something weird to see a lot of men in this field, and I don't feel like scared or anything. But at the same time, I feel like we need to bring the same amount of quality to the table as men bringing. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So we shouldn't just say that, because we are women, we have the right, we have to get a special, treatment or something. I feel like if we are capable, and we have to bring that so that we have broader voice.
Yeah, of course. Do you want to bring this just a little bit closer to you?
Okay.
Yeah, you're good. But so, with that, I can imagine there's a lot of women out there that are maybe scared to step into this field just because, again, it is maybe not just male dominated, but again, it is very quick moving and that kind of thing. Do you have any maybe advice to women that are like, they have sincere interest in software engineering or coding, but they're a little bit intimidated by not just the massive space that it is, like it is kind of all encompassing, but also that it is very male dominated. Any advice for those kind of people?
So my advice is that yes, it is intimidating. It's scary to be around like professionals, but those professionals one day they were juniors. They there are a lot of times that I know for the fact that, for example, a man is a software engineer that I'm working with might not know everything, but that doesn't mean that we shouldn't try. We should try hard things, and we should the hard things will get easy when we try, when we practice and practice. And if you have this mindset of not quitting, you'll be fine.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I don't think anyone should be intimidated by any space, to be honest, no matter what the reasoning is. Like, maybe you should respect it on whatever that kind of fear comes from. But I think it's important to kind of, as you were saying, persevere through that. That's how that we need more people in every field. You know what I mean? Like, get into what you're interested in, because
if you do it every day, at least for 2 hours, you'll definitely get there. It's just a matter of time, because anything that you start is hard at first, and you need to have a different mindset.
Definitely, yeah. And so with software engineering, is there any dream project that you want to work on? Anything like that is just, I don't know, something that comes from your subconscious that you're like, man, I really would love to work on something like that or near that field or a specific project? Something come to mind?
So I because I'm still at school, I get the chance to work on many different broad projects. For example, the past summer, I worked on video processing app.
That's cool.
So I had no clue. I had no idea how machine learning and all those stuff works, and I've learned a ton. And at the same time, there were like times that I was so disappointed because it was so hard and it was not getting anywhere. But you
persevere.
Yeah, exactly.
Keep going.
Yes.
That is the method.
Exactly.
I agree.
Yeah.
Is it? I always have this question for software engineers as well. Is it more normal to, with a space like this that's so fast moving, is it more normal for software engineers to be like with a company or like stick with a specific project for a long time? Or is it more normal for software engineers to kind of bounce around? Does that make sense? Like go from project to project. Oh, project's done. Time to go to maybe another company and just like keep switching that way. Is that normal, or is it more normal to stick?
Yeah. So I mean, the thing is that it's a personal choice, because there are a lot of companies out there, and you might feel like I don't want to work here anymore. I want to go and work on another project. And it's really normal that people just jump around.
Yeah. Is that something you would want to do? Do you want to work on many different projects, or do you want to kind of stick with one and see how that goes for years and years and years?
That's honestly, it's really tough to say now, because I'm not working now.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to, but for school, I feel like I'm so excited that each course is just giving me the options.
Yeah.
And the feeling that I might want to do this, or I might want to do that.
Right.
Yeah.
Understood. Okay, gotcha. Software engineering. And so when are you done with the master's?
Hopefully next year.
Oh, that's exciting. That's crazy. Super well educated. I mean, I can't wait. So you have a bachelor's and master's in chemistry?
No, bachelor's.
Just bachelor's in chemistry, and then a bachelor's in software engineering. Yes. Getting your master's. Yes. Crazy. Okay, gotcha. Okay, I want to touch on one last thing about just like your life, and then I kind of want to go into what's going on with Iran.
Absolutely.
While you're doing all of this, you're also learning to fly planes. Why? Why are you doing that?
I feel like there's something about me that, all the things that are happening, I'm learning about myself, and I didn't know any of these things about myself. That I have a drive that a lot of people don't have it, and I feel like I need to appreciate this about myself and be proud of it. I'm not a proud person at all, and but I feel like I need to give myself more credit for all this excitement that I have, and the drive, because I barely see a lot of people doing these things at the same time. I'm not saying that it's a good thing or it's a bad thing, but I just feel like it's good to make yourself busy.
Yeah.
It's good to make yourself. It's good to be the best version of yourself and try different new things.
Yeah.
And it's not bad to
Explore
see
those
something.
avenues.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Nothing wrong with that at all.
Exactly.
But the question is like, why pilot? Like, as out of all the things
Yes.
you can like try to do, or
Yes.
like you could like learn a different language, you could like, I don't know, learn
Yeah.
to cook, but you choose like, I'm gonna fly this metal tube through the air. Like,
Well,
why?
I'm a good cook.
Okay, fair. Yeah. I believe it.
I'm a very, and I love cooking.
Yeah.
So cooking is one of the things that makes my mind, it keeps me calm. So when I'm back from work, I don't go to change my clothes. I go to the kitchen and start cooking.
Wow.
So that's the only thing that makes me calm down. And for flying, I can say, so my family, we have the history of loving planes and
Oh.
yeah. So my uncle was in Air Force, and he was a legend, and he was an example for a lot of people, and he was my role model too. So every time that I was like looking at the planes, I was just it makes me think about him. So yeah, so one of the things that makes me really like airplanes was that, but I had no idea that I ever want to learn how to fly or anything. And then I came here, and then I saw that, um, there's this option of women being a pilot, and maybe, and then I realized that I could become a pilot for um, in Iran, but the process is just ridiculously hard, and they don't care about your, in Iran, when you want to get a job or do anything, the first thing that is really very important is that how much you care about the revolutions, what is it,
Like agenda. And what
agenda,
they, yeah.
or how much do you care about them, how much do you know about them, or how much do you accept all their mindset. So they care about those instead of your skills. So most of the time you don't want to touch anything because it's not about your skills.
Right.
It's about them, and you don't want that.
Yeah.
So I came here, and I flew with my friend's uncle, that he happens to be in the Air Force in Iran, and I had to talk about my uncle to him a lot, and it was just a great experience of going and on a propeller, and it was just amazing.
Yeah.
But then this was like a couple of years ago, and then I met another friend of mine on Instagram, and he happened to have the license, the pilot license, and we talked about it, and I've learned a lot of things, and I felt like, okay, this is something that maybe I can touch, and it is exciting, and it makes me happy, and makes me so the things that I try, I found out about myself that the thing that I want to try makes my heart beats more,
Oh, yeah.
and it makes me it's so exciting for me, and when that happens, I'm all for it. So that happens when I wanted to do coding. That happens when I wanted to write books, because they are so big, and it makes me it makes something happens in my heart, and I feel like when that happens, I feel like that's the drive, and that's the excitement that everyone needs.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah, you like the big projects. You like
Yeah.
the big, very difficult projects. That's what you would go for.
Yes, I think I challenge myself a lot.
Good. Yeah, you
Yeah.
should. More people should, honestly.
Yes,
Yeah, it's
yes.
amazing. All right, okay, there's so much to talk about. We're gonna have to like be a
I
recurring guest
know.
or something. There's just so
It's
much. But here, I wanna talk about Iran before we run out of time. So,
yeah.
and again, take your time on this. But I'm a stupid American. Okay, I just want to put that out there. I don't know much about what's happening, and I purposefully did that so that you can tell me, because there is no one I know better that has your firsthand experience living there, but also again like family ties and friends and so forth, but also like getting success in that country and then making a decision to leave it. Like you have a firsthand experience that is unlike anything I have ever even can possibly dream about.
Yeah.
So can you just like bird's eye view this for me? What is going on over there? Like you're seeing it all over social medias and news and
Yeah.
so forth. Tell me about just like the basics of like what the actual like root of the issue is. What's
Yeah.
happening?
So the thing is that people are so unhappy now, and it started way before, and this is not something new in Iran. But this time we can hear the voice of people more because it's getting more frustrating, and people are like really fed up with the current situation. One of the things is absolutely the women's right, and it started with a girl getting killed in the police custody. And so we have something called morality police, and they stop women if they are not covering properly. So wearing hijab is a rule of the country because the government is Islamic, and the Islamic rules are the rules of the country. So there's no choice for anyone. Even, for example, if you're Christian, you cannot choose not to wear hijab because you don't believe in it. But you have to because it's a rule of the country. So um, anyone who doesn't obey, they will get persecuted, and they get, So what happened was that this girl is out in another city, which is the capital, with her brother, and the morality police says that you're not wearing proper hijab, and she resists, and probably they hit their head or something. So she had a concussion, and she passed away 3 days later in the hospital.
Oh my God.
And now people are so furious that this shouldn't be the case. These are our daughters, these are our sisters, this is us that we're. Why are you treating like this? And then people are now furious outside, and this is not only about hijab, it's about a lot of different things. One of the most important ones is the economy. The economy is just so bad, and they dictate that economy to us. If they change some stuff around, we wouldn't have to suffer. People of Iran don't have to suffer this much, and they can have like a normal life, but they don't. They're not willing to give up on any of their, way of thinkings, and yeah, sadly.
Is that like a well documented thing for like a lot of things got said, and I wanted to ask about everything, but for the financial part of it, for the economy, is that well documented that they're kind of allocating resources inappropriately? Is that what's happening?
Absolutely, there are a lot of corruptions.
Oh.
Iran is a very rich country. We have a lot of oil resources, and very like the minerals that are just going out without anyone tracking them or anything. So the corruption made everything difficult, and just living, having a house in Iran is like unbelievably hard now, and just a normal life is really hard.
Yeah. And I can imagine what happened to that woman. I'm sad to say, I'm guessing that is not a uncommon thing to happen for them, right? First off, the term morality police is terrifying.
I know.
That is a
exactly.
scary thing to say and
Yes.
hear.
But
Morality.
who says what is moral
Yeah.
and what's not?
And first off, who sets that standard? Second off, it's like you're gonna put someone in custody and or definitely like beat them, but maybe kill them due to these set standards set by some random individual.
Yeah.
Like that's insane to me. Morality police, like
So
crazy.
the thing, sorry, I can't.
No, go on.
The thing is that they took the girl. They wanted to put her in the custody, and they wanted to re-educate them, and say
Okay.
that okay, what you're doing is not right. This is wrong. This is right. That the thing that, and she was like, no, this is my choice, and I want to do this, and they say that no, what we are saying is right.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
It's crazy to hear that this is happening in 2022. I mean, that's wild.
that is wild.
And has been happening, I'm sure, for the past like 40 years. You know what I mean?
43 years, yes. Yeah.
43 years.
I'm not sure about if you know about the history of Iran. So Iran was
Only what
not
you
like
told me,
this.
yeah.
Yeah. So we had 2,500 years of monarchy, and the last two kings, they did incredibly great job on building the country, building the infrastructure. So if it wasn't for them, Iran was not. Iran was like Iraq or Afghanistan, but Iran is a well developed country, and people are educated, and people like are a little bit different because of the things that the last two king did. Of course, it was a monarchy, and it was like shortcomings, and not everything was perfect. But I personally believe that there shouldn't have been a revolution, and it should have been like more of a changing things around.
Yeah. And we were talking previously, and you were telling me about the last king, right?
Yeah.
The last one to be there.
Yeah.
And he was I could be wrong about all these facts, but I'm pretty sure he came into power in the 40s, and then
Yeah.
the revolution happened like 77, 78, 79.
79.
And so, almost 4 full decades, right? And
Yes.
you were talking about that he was very headstrong on modernization, right?
Modernization, yeah.
Making everything very updated, industrialization, right? Making it more of a capital of
Yeah.
industry rather than whatever.
Exactly.
Now, do you think if that revolution didn't happen and this king kept going in this progress, like where do you think Iran would be like today? You know what I mean?
Iran
Like
would
40
have been
years.
one of the very most powerful countries in the world. And many countries didn't wanted this to happen.
Yeah.
A lot of countries, I don't know if I should just name them or not, but everyone knows. They didn't want this to happen because it's scary to have a country who has resource of oil and be powerful and have something to say.
Yeah.
So I feel like once we are out of oil in the Middle East, everything will calms down.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's just this kind of rich resource that everyone's after
Yes.
that is kind of
Yes.
sparking all of this conflict. Is that right?
So
Makes
before
sense.
the revolution of Iran, the Middle East was super peaceful, and there was no war, there was no chaos. So all this chaos happened when the Shah of Iran overturned, and also so the revolution happened. Iraq decided to invade Iran. Previously, it was the king was so strong and very like fearful, and no one could like even think about invading Iran. But then after he was gone, Saddam invaded our country and we had like 8 years of brutal war with Iraq. And my dad also served in that war, and he lost his hearing.
Mm-hmm.
And so it wasn't people in Iran after the revolution. We've been through a lot. So one after another, it was just it was like a domino.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So much history goes with that. This is crazy.
Yeah, I wish I could like open everything.
I know. I want to know about this, but like, it would take
Yes.
years to understand all of it. But and we're seeing all this kind of surface very recently on like social media and news and so forth. The outlets that are displaying this, including all social media's news, are they doing a good job of displaying all this or not really? They're not.
No.
Wow.
So the thing is that we don't have a lot of voice, and I'm so sad that people pick and choose. So if it's a human right, if it's a woman's right, everyone should do it. Everyone should like go for it and be pro to it. And I feel like people pick and choose. And we had this issue in 2020 in US, and everyone were like doing it.
Yeah.
But now the same thing is happening in Iran, and no one is really doing that, like broadcasting it or like showing the actual thing that is happening. And that only shows me one thing, that they don't want to. But the fact that why they don't want to is unknown.
Yeah. That's what it seems, right? I
Yeah.
mean, it seems like there is some kind of narrative of ignorance, you know what I mean? Of like
Yeah.
disconnection from like what's happening out there, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Which is big. I mean, people, how can Iranian people say to the world that we need your support?
right.
So the people in Iran, they don't want the current regime. They don't want them anymore. And there are very like a small percentage of people who wants, and I think it's only 11%.
Wow.
The rest of the country, the rest of the 85 million people that live in Iran, they don't want the current government.
So how are they still in power at that point then? Is it just too
They
big
are
to fail
very-
at this point? They have all the
Yeah.
infrastructure, all the
Yeah.
power.
All
It's very
the power,
hard to
very-
topple.
Exactly. They have very powerful army, and they have something else called the Revolutionary Guard. So the Revolutionary Guard started after the war between, I think even before, but they got the more power after the war between Iran and Iraq. So they mostly care about the revolution rather than the Iranian people.
Wow.
Yeah. So most of the economy is they're in control of the economy. Yeah,
That's a terrifying prospect.
it is. It is.
Goodness.
So I feel like I can definitely safely say this, that the people of Iran are the hostage of the Islamic regime.
Yeah.
So they do whatever they want, and they don't care about what actual people want in the street.
And the people in the street, like, are they doing anything about that? Are there like massive protests or anything, or is that getting shut down pretty much immediately? I can imagine.
Yeah, so people are currently that we are talking, everywhere in the world, Iranians are outside and they are like protesting. They're refusing to go to their jobs, to like open their stores or all those stuff. And every night there's like a lot of protests, and they shot people. I saw a video that the agents of the government, they were inside a bus and they were shooting while they were shooting to people while they were driving.
Oh my goodness.
It's insane.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Where do you think this ends? Where do we go from here?
Hopefully, we want freedom. We want freedom of speech. For example, if anyone has a different opinion, they can come out and they say if they don't like it. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean that they're gonna overturn anything but the government, they don't even allow for people to freely go into the street and say that we don't want the leader, for example.
Right.
But if the leader is confident enough about himself, they shouldn't be scared of people outside.
Right.
So I feel like they need to figure out things with themselves.
Right. I mean, it just seems like a council of people that doesn't want to let go of their power, even
Yeah.
though they know that,
Yeah.
objectively this is
Yeah.
negatively impacting the country that they're running.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh my God. And so with that, I also want to talk about like I can imagine there's heavy propaganda within the country for
Yes.
those citizens. But have you noticed anything from now being in America for so long, like the propaganda on the other side? So like, is there any propaganda here about Iran that you maybe disagree with, or maybe
Absolutely,
you've seen
yeah.
that's not
Yeah.
quite right?
Honestly, so the whole time during the past 2-3 weeks that all these protests started, the whole time I was seeing a lot of posts and news that was coming out about how people of Iran don't want the government. But then sadly, today I saw a couple of posts on Telegram that they were saying that, oh, all these things that you're seeing in Iran that is happening, it's being run by CIA. Which doesn't make
Wait,
sense.
what?
It's people
Yeah.
of Iran doesn't want the current government.
Yeah.
So we have no help from anyone. We have neither of the news outside, like CNN, NBC, um, all these like big news anchors, they don't cover anything.
Yeah.
So it's only
Terrifying.
us, and we are empty-handed. People are throwing stones to the police in
Yeah.
Iran and to the government. They don't have any arms like people in US.
Right. Do you ever think that the U.S. would intervene by chance? Do you think it would
I
ever
don't
get
think
to
they
such a
would
thing?
ever.
I guess because we're not covering it, so it seems like maybe even just a lack of interest, which is crazy. But maybe that's what it is. Maybe do you think maybe that is one way that, in general, people can is just awareness simply
Yeah,
enough. It's
exactly.
like if everyone was
We
aware.
only want awareness. We want everyone in the outside US to know about what is going on, so they wouldn't kill people without anyone knows. Because previously, before social media, they were doing that. They were killing without anyone knows about any of this happening. But this is not new. I told you that this started way before. Mass killings, they call it mass purge.
Oh
That
my God.
they kill people who are against the government easily, and there was no social media to put it out. Now the social media is out and everyone is posting. Now they cannot hide.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's very exposed. Everyone's got a camera on them,
Yeah,
that kind of thing.
exactly.
Yeah, I get that.
So the only thing that we want is the news to cover it. I mean, what is the news for?
Yeah.
Just put the reality outside, not just hiding it or not just
Right.
censoring it. We don't want to be censored. We want to be heard.
Of course. Yeah. And so I agree with, yeah. So like you're saying that, this isn't new. It's just being exposed. I'm curious, like, since you grew up there, so since being born there and upon leaving and upon now, has it gotten worse, the same, and now is just exposed? Or like, because it sounds really bad, obviously, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
the woman, I'm guessing, is just one story of
yeah.
thousands upon thousands, right? I mean, that's just how it goes. And so I'm trying to figure out is if this power dynamic that the regime is kind of controlling, is it getting worse in that they're being more brutal with their citizens, or is it stagnating or getting better?
Absolutely, it's not going to change anything, and it's even making it worse because they want control, and they will make things worse.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty sure that if this like rise doesn't get anywhere soon, people of Iran is gonna be screwed because they're gonna like put more control on the people, put more sanctions on the people, and they're gonna really screw up everything.
Do you have any idea what that country would look like? Let's say if the regime got their way, if it was complete control, what would that even look like?
It would be, sadly, yeah, it would be North Korea. It would
Yeah,
be Afghanistan with Taliban. Yeah,
it'd be that
yeah,
corrupted,
corrupted. Yeah,
complete control.
exactly. We don't want that. We Iranian people, we are far from um, those kind of styles of living.
That's correct. And so now, so yeah, that Iran is insane situation, crazy. I feel like I learned a lot, so much just in the last 10 minutes. But now that you're in the U.S. currently, right? Does the concept of freedom change now that you've kind of experienced very different territories on the globe? Does that internally kind of trigger anything to you now?
I think I didn't understand your question.
Just like the idea of freedom, on like what that even means, or what that is kind of inspiring towards people. Because again, being in Iran, again, we heard this story, very summarized view, but you heard your story of like being a successful Iranian person there, and choosing to leave it to start basically completely fresh, to come
Exactly.
here and so forth. And just knowing those concepts of freedom that are vastly different, at least in the government's eyes, what that means to you, or maybe just general citizenry.
Yeah, so like the experience of having freedom for me, um, I feel like now I definitely want the same freedom for my own people too, because I now I have the taste of having freedom and being able to live on your own and choose what you want. And I definitely want everyone to have this opportunity, and to have this to experience these moments of like how an individual can be themselves.
It seems so simple, right?
Exactly.
Like
It's
just
a
to
normal life.
do what you want,
Yeah.
wear what you want.
Exactly.
You want your life to be about this? That's fine. As long as
Yeah.
you're not hurting other people, that's
Yeah.
okay. Like it just seems such like a basic human need, but a human right, that it's crazy to hear that still in this modern day it is being so heavily like subjugated against that. No, you cannot have rights. No, you
Yeah.
cannot wear what you want. You have
Yes.
to wear this. You have to do this. You have to believe in what we believe.
Yeah.
That is such a crazy concept to hear today.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like it's just insane. But yeah, I think, well, again, like I think your story is an inspiring one at the very least for everyone. Whether it's, you know, kind of wondering what's going on in Iran, or in your own life of where to go, what drives you, again, what gets your heart beating,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I think your story is just a fascinating one. And again, we only just
Yeah.
tip of the iceberg. Like I don't think we've covered like much at all, like in
I
comparison
know.
to
I wish
like
I could
the
share
full
especially
density.
about Iran and the history and how people think and what people want. I wish I could, but I know that it's time.
I know. But again, that
Yeah.
just means you have to come back and tell us more. That's all.
Absolutely, yes,
Is there any last things
yes.
you want to say to the people out there? Just anything at all?
Um, I just want to tell everyone that is watching this video to fight for, and I feel like life is a fight, and life is not easy for anyone, and let's not judge each other. Let's be there for each other, and let's be happy for each other. I feel like this is the message that I want to give everyone.
I love that. That's beautiful. Well, tell everyone lastly where to find you, socials, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Plug all the stuff.
So I'm mostly active on Instagram, and my Instagram handler is brunette coder, and
Brunette underscore.
brunette
coder.
underscore coder. Yeah.